Hey y'all, hi. I had like a small sickness that went through me. It wasn't very intense, but it lasted a long time, and it's weird. I don't think I sounded like this when I was the most sick, but now that I'm on the mend, I can really hear it in my head. So I hope that it's not too distracting. I have not dragged myself from the sick bed to sit before you. It just sounds like I have. So I have been doing some thinking, as I do, about fashions, about outfits, and absorbing some inspo. And I have this thought, honestly kind of a half-baked idea that I hope that you don't mind if I think out loud about. Preposition. I guess it's what you would call an outfit formula. And I want to unpack, okay? I have a bunch of pictures. I have a bunch of thoughts. I think that it's a thing that I might be wanting to lean into in the new year. If you're new, I hope you enjoy this video. If you like thinking about aesthetics, beauty, fashion, lifestyle, moderation, quality over quantity, if you like those things, you might like to subscribe and stick around. I will also link my book at the top of the description box down below. And now let's get into the meat of the video. My book is a book of poetry, a prize-winning book of poetry, also about beauty in its own way. Okay, so the 3-bean salad, actually. So the video, I'm calling the outfit formula the 3-bean salad because Joe frequently accuses our baby, who's now like almost 16 months old, of being full of beans. And then if he keeps acting full of beans, he says he's a 3-bean salad. But it is sort of a good segue into talking about today's video sponsor, which is Factor. So Factor delivers fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals straight to your doorstep, making it easier than ever to meet your nutrition goals. And y'all, these meals have provided so much stress relief and extra time for my family during this past month, our busiest month of the year. When the Factor box arrives on our doorstep, it is like a weight lifting off of my shoulders. Because when I see that box, all of the labor and infrastructure of getting food on the table, meal planning, grocery shopping, food prep, cooking fatigue, honestly, I see that box and it all just dissolves away. The Factor meals are ready in just a couple of minutes, and I know that the food is going to be good and make us feel good. Factor has something for everyone, options like Gourmet Plus, Keto, Calorie Smart, Vegan, and Veggie meals. The subscription is flexible. You can change up your order every week with plans from 4 meals to 18 meals a week, and you can pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. And they also have add-ons to fit your lifestyle, like protein shakes, which are really good, juices, which we had in our most recent box, which were also really good, snacks, etc. And it's really good. That's the thing that matters most. That's the thing that makes it work. The food is reliably so good. Every time Joe and I are eating Factor meals together, we'll look at each other and be like, how's yours? And it's like, oh, it's really good. How's yours taste? Oh, it's really good, actually. Like, we've stopped being surprised at this point, but we have the same exchange every time, and that is always how it goes. So the more experience that I have with Factor, the more of a fan I become. I'm so happy to be working with them. You can head to factor75.com or click the link below and use the code 50HANNAHP to get 50% off and free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50HANNAHP at factor75.com for 50% off and free shipping on your first Factor box. Thank you so much to Factor for working with me and for sponsoring part of this video. Okay, the 3-bean salad. This was inspired by, I think, my favorite image from my recent video about trying to convince myself to wear mismatched accessories, and I'll link that video. I was stuck in this place of feeling like my bag and shoes always had to match perfectly, and I just went through and looked at a bunch of images of really great outfits that don't have that quality to try to rewire my brain a little bit, and it absolutely worked. To me, the standout image from that video is this one, the iconic, the brilliant, genius at putting together outfits, Abisola Omole. Everything she does is impeccable, and this, you can see why it was in the other video, right? Because the bag and the shoes don't match. And I talked about in that video, the reason why it all worked together was that it was so simple and so strong, and there are 3 separate entities only. And like, that's kind of where the simplicity is. And this is what gave me the idea, the concept of the 3-bean salad. So briefly revisiting or introducing this image to those of you who didn't see that other video yet, I know you're going to go watch it after this. The dress, the bag, and the shoes are the only things contributing to the conversation, right, about balance and color and shape that are on her body, right? It's just these 3 strong realms of shape and color. And the bag is super structural and the shoes are super structural. The shoes also have a metallic element, which is really strong. And the dress, of course, is very statement, very bright. None of them goes with the other in like a super traditional way. They don't match in a traditional way, but because of the simplicity of the 3 things being combined together and being the only 3 things, they coexist in balance. They hang together. Kind of like a Rothko. I think of it kind of like a Rothko painting that only has 3 colors in it, like a background color and 2 splotches of colors. And of course, there are some colors that go better together, that go with each other better. Any 3 colors are going to be in conversation in a way that any other combination of 3 colors isn't going to be in conversation. Like each combination is going to have its own conversation of 3. But in a sense, because there are only 3, and because of that simplicity of presentation of a Rothko, I mean, that's like the example that I'm using, just blocks of color. It's so pure. It's so in your face. It's so strong and clear. It's almost like any 3 colors would work. Like any 3 colors would be something that you can stand and look at, something that kind of has a vibrational quality. And so that is the question that I was kind of posing to myself. Could it be that any outfit made up of only 3 elements, and I'm really pretty strictly adhering to this, only 3 elements with no exceptions? Could it be that in the context of that outfit, basically anything could work? Like any garment could work with any other garment as long as there are only 3. And that includes, I mean, I guess it's not including in this case, like her earrings, right? That's like a 4th thing that she's wearing, but I'm including bags and shoes and dresses, etc. So to dig into this concept and unpack this question, I present to you a series of images that are examples of this. Okay, let's do it. So an oldie but a goodie on my Pinterest board. I've used this as an example a lot of times on YouTube in different videos about fashion. And I have a whole fashion videos playlist, by the way. You know, I make videos about, some of my videos are like trying new makeup. What do we think of the new NARS lipstick? You know, and some of it's like my journey from overspending to moderation. And then some of them are like fashion. All we're talking about is how to put together an outfit. All of the fashion videos are compiled in a single playlist. You can watch it all the way through. It's pretty beefy at this point. Anyway, if you do click on that and watch it all the way through, you'll see this image multiple times. It's from the Dries Van Noten fall 2009 runway. I love this image to talk about sweaters and skirts together. I love this image to talk about tonal monochromatic dressing because everything is like a different shade of the same root color. I love this image to talk about proportions, oversized on top, slim and fitted on the bottom. And today we're using this image to talk about the 3-bean salad because she's only wearing 3 things: a sweater, a skirt, and shoes. There's no bag, right? She's not holding a bag and she's not wearing a coat. Realistically, to execute this, you'd have to be planning the 3-bean salad for a setting in which you don't need to carry your bag. Or, yeah, basically. So you're thinking about, you're going, say, to an art, wow, like smacking things in my enthusiasm. Only on the second picture, I need to like calm my body down. Say you're going to an art gallery, like an art opening, and there's going to be a coat check and you feel comfortable checking your bag. So you're going and you know that you're going to get there and you're going to check your coat and your bag, and then you're going to be walking around in the setting of the party only in your garments and your shoes. So that's the outfit that you're planning. Or you're going to go to your office, say you're going to work, and you know that once you get to work, you're going to put your coat and your bag like in your office or in your cubicle or something. And then for the work day, and your core outfit is only going to be your clothing and your shoes. So when you plan your outfit, you're thinking about, I'm going to be walking around in just my clothes and my shoes. Why don't we try the 3-bean salad, distilling that down into the purity of the 3-bean salad and see what we can make of it. So you might be thinking, well, that's me every time I go anywhere. I always get there and then I take off my bag and I take off my coat and then I'm just wearing my clothes and my shoes. But it's only shoes, skirt, and top. Right? She's not wearing any socks or stockings. I mean, I know we're not really including jewelry, but it's very simple, right? She's not wearing a necklace of any kind. She's not wearing statement earrings or earrings at all that I can see. There's nothing upon her except for these 3 strong statement pieces. And I feel that that is one of the many things that is making this work, even though the top is such a statement in terms of texture and proportions. The skirt is such a statement color, and the shoes are elevated to be very fashion by the fact that they're close to the same color as the top. But it's the simplicity, it's the three bean salad of it all, it's the trifecta of it all that I think is making it sing so loudly, and why I've included it in videos as inspiration so many times. I do think this would be a good base outfit. If she were to pick up a bag, throw on a coat, it would work. But there's something about this game of three that this model is playing. Okay, here we depart already a tiny bit. I feel like this outfit is three bean salad, even though she's wearing clearly four things, right? She's wearing a top, a skirt, a bag, and shoes. But I'm counting the top and the skirt as one because they match so exactly. It might as well be the same thing. And I think that you can push into this realm of three bean salad if the top and bottom half of your outfit are two separate pieces, but they're such a completely perfectly matched set that it might as well just be a dress that somebody cut in half. You know, I think that you can still follow this outfit recipe and just count that as one. So this is an example of that. It's also an example of how this can be executed with non-minimal color and print, because I really am on my minimal neutrals, like brain smoothing clothing horse right now. Like that's my vibe right now. But I know that not all of you are. I mean, and I think I consider this a neutral, just putting it out there. But I know that not all of you are. Some of you really want to be wearing fuzzy pink and cowhide. And so this is for you. You can totally do this. In fact, I think part of what attracts me to this idea is that it's holding maximalism. Many of these outfits are holding maximalism and simplicity in balance. The solution to the conundrum of how you make something really intensely maximalist work, like fuzzy pink twin set or this bag, which is like a cowhide print bag, how you make any one of those maximalist things work, and then the conundrum of how you make them work with each other. I think potentially the solution is minimalism of the amount of stuff you're wearing. Keeping the number of items with which you even clothe yourself literally all the way down to 3 and not going above that. You can't over maximalize if you're only wearing 3 things, no matter how maximal each individual garment is. That's what I feel like we're learning from an image like this. Oh my gosh, I love this one. I love this one. Look at this. The 3 garments are a dress, a pair of shoes, and socks. And clearly the socks are the star of the show. I like this for so many reasons. One is that it's all pretty innocuous. Innocuous isn't the word. It's all pretty, it's not too fashion, right? None of these items is uncomfortably high fashion for, I think, a lot of people. So I think of something like Abby Sola's unbelievable outfit that we saw the first one with the orange dress. She's just so high fashion. It's so elevated. These pieces were so expensive. You can just tell. It's the world that she moves in. She's like at runway shows, at dinner with like really fashion people, and everything is collector's item, right? Everything is just, and I feel like I've learned a lot from her about how to put outfits together, but I also feel like the pieces themselves, especially like the bags and the shoes, but really everything she does, it's like unapproachably expensive runway fashion, most of it. You know what I mean? So I'm having to learn from what she does and then apply it to what I can cobble together with what I have. In this case, a black dress like this, and this might be very high fashion, the pieces might be expensive. I'm not really sure where the image comes from, but I feel like this black dress could be any black dress, like anyone's black sweater dress, or even maybe a skirt and turtleneck. But the way she's wearing it, it doesn't look super runway, super fashion, doesn't look expensive, doesn't necessarily look designer. You know what I mean? It's beautiful, but it's like, it has a little bit of a humility. You know what I mean? And the same is kind of true of the shoes. The wedge is pretty high, and I know to some people, a heel like that just feels fashion and feels unapproachable. But the styling of the shoe, the fact that it's a wedge instead of a stiletto, even the color of the leather, the fact that it's a Mary Jane strap and a peep toe, it feels a little bit like you might have something like this in your closet. A lot of people might have something like this in their closet as their fanciest shoe. People who aren't that fancy and who don't wear designer things might have something like this that is their fanciest shoe, but it still feels comfortable to them. And then the sock, same thing, like just a red sock like this. It's just, the color is pretty strong, but a lot of people have like a cute sock here here, a cute sock there, a red sock. It also has a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge, a little bit of fun, doesn't take itself too seriously. It doesn't have those unapproachable designer vibes either. But the way it's all put together is so skillful, so bold. The entire outfit retains that quality of approachability, wearability, potentially even affordability, but the three bean salad of it all, right? Putting these three blocks of, it's like three blocks together, the Rothko painting, right? That with the socks as the star, it makes it so fashion, but it's elevated all the way up to the level of fashion, but without it losing that kind of gritty quality. So I really like this image as an example for a way in which this concept could be executed. This one is also, this looks a little more high fashion. I don't know what this image is from, but it looks like it could be a product listing on the Frankie shop or something like that, right? It looks very contemporary, polished, chic. But I think this is also really doable, especially those of you who are designing an outfit that you wear around the office when you get to the office. Once you've put your bag down, it's like, what are you then going to look like in person, in meetings, walking around, having lunch, like for the rest of the day, what are you going to be wearing? Because this would work for a professional setting. I think it's really cute, and that's part of why I included it in here, because I think for some of you, this will be the only one that's like feasible. It's like the only one that actually fits with your lifestyle, and I tried to include like a variety. But I also put this in here to say this. This is only three bean salad because she's not wearing socks, because she's wearing her work shoes, her loafers without socks. If she had on socks, it wouldn't be following this brief. It would be a little bit more normal, a little bit more regular. If she had on socks, some of you would be like, well, that's what I look like every day. Like, this is just what I wear. This is just, we're not learning anything here. There's no elevating happening. You've just like put up an image of like, I wear a button-down shirt tucked into slacks, socks, and, loafers every day. But I like to think that this lady in the image was like, well, I have my outfit on. Now, how can I make it three bean salad? Well, I have to take off the socks. She's like, I can't take off my shirt. I can't take off my pants. I can't take off my shoes. The socks have got to go. And now it's got that just blazing simplicity of there being only three. And if your workplace can support it, I recommend it. I think this is stunning. And it's funny. I wonder if some of you were like, well, it wouldn't feel quite right in my workplace to wear shoes like that without socks, or to wear shoes without socks. But look at this. This, I think, is very professional. And because they're heels, there's no issue with there being no socks. And I just don't feel like it's that big of a gap to leap to just wear any shoe without a sock, to show a little bare ankle. It's like, why is it okay to show a little bare ankle when you're wearing heels, which are already a little bit more showy? But if you show a little bare ankle when you're wearing loafers, then that's too fashion for the workplace. I mean, I don't know how your workplace is, but that seems to me like a barrier you might be able to just push through and nobody would notice, What a stunning outfit. What a stunning outfit. I would love to wear this. I guess I do have some brown pumps. They aren't like this. This is so beautiful because the satin, because the shoes and the skirt are literally the same fabric, or looking like the same fabric, right? A shiny, satiny brown. And then the sweater is so casual. Like, you could see her sitting there. In my mind's eye, I could replace the bottom half of the outfit with like jeans and sneakers, and it looks just as correct. The top half of the outfit is really versatile, really casual. And then she's like switched out the jeans and sneakers for this beautiful brown satin situation. I absolutely love this. It looks like she might be wearing something white underneath the sweater, like a white t-shirt. I'm just ignoring that and pretending that's not there to fully conceive of this inside the frame of this like three splotch work of art that we're figuring out how to create with outfits, or, looking at people who have done it. I think, with nothing underneath the sweater, or maybe the skirt is a dress and she's wearing the sweater over it. That's a really cool way to create this look, right? Wear a dress, wear a sweater over it, and then wear a pair of shoes that don't have socks with them. So you just have like the 1, 2, 3. This one's just particularly beautiful to me. Okay, obviously this fits the brief. I included this. This isn't exactly outerwear. I mean, the sweater is kind of, I guess it is outerwear. It's clearly, it looks like she's wearing it with nothing underneath though. I mean, I think it's designed to look like outerwear, but kind of to be worn indoors. It's one of those that could go both ways, like the Ozma sweaters. But as received, right, as we see it in this image, there are only 3 areas. So part of why I put this in was to talk about outerwear with this concept. When I'm conceiving of an outfit, I'm like going somewhere. If I'm wearing a coat and I have a bag, but I might be going somewhere where I take off the coat and put down the bag, I'm designing multiple outfits, right? You're designing the outfit that you're you're wearing when you walk down the street in your coat with your bag. And you're also designing the outfit that you wear once you've taken off your coat and left your bag, or any combination of that, right? You might get where you're going and check your coat, but have your bag with you, and that's a different outfit. So thinking about three bean salad as guidance for your outerwear outfit, like the way that you look when you're wearing your coat, it's actually particularly easy because maybe underneath your coat you have other garments, but when you put on your coat, you cover them up. And so when someone looks at you standing there waiting for the subway, all they see is your coat, your skirt, and your boots, as we have here. I feel the same way about socks, right? Maybe she's wearing socks. Maybe she's wearing those red socks from the other picture underneath the skirt, but you can't see them. So visually, this is just an act of three strokes of color and print, right? The orange sweater, the printed skirt, the black boots, 1, 2, 3. So I consider this to fit the bill. It's a way of doing it, even though she might be wearing something complicated under the coat. We just can't see it. She might be wearing socks. We just can't see them. And so this still counts as 3. So it's something you might be doing when you dress in your coat, even though the rest of your outfit for the day doesn't align with this outfit recipe. Oh, I just had to put this other one in with Abby Sola because it's so good. And it's yet another slightly unexpected combination, right? It's yet another example that makes me think of Rothko because it's just like this glorious white dress, beautiful bag, simple bag, and then the strong choice to wear this green shoe, without which it would be a very minimal outfit, the likes of which I tend to wear these days, right? Cream and black or cream and brown, I can't tell. This bag looks like the Freya bag that I have. I had this beautiful bag. It was PR from this company, Freya. I think that it is that bag. I have loved that bag. I talked about it in my gift guide. I have loved that bag through this season. You can't see the full glory of the silhouette, if that is indeed what she's carrying. You can't see it from the side, but you can kind of see how it has this sort of minimal curvature and just is really, the shape is really juicy and sensual. Everywhere I go with that bag, people are like, wow, your bag is beautiful. Like I get, it's probably the most commented on thing I've worn in the past 6 months. Anyway, back to the outfit. I feel like there's balance in the imbalance, if that makes sense. So the dress is quite minimal and is neutral. The bag is quite minimal and neutral in shape. Everything's sort of streamlined and artistic and very clean in terms of color. And then the shoes are so strong, slightly unexpected because they're satin. It's not even leather. I feel like if the shoes were this color but leather, it wouldn't quite be different enough to come back around and have it all humming. It would still be beautiful, but it's this extreme difference in not just color, but texture. It's like a completely third thing that makes a really good Rothko painting rather than just 3 colors together on a canvas, you know? Okay, I put this one in here because the styling is really different. I tend to gravitate towards pretty polished clothing, like upscale, like you're wearing something you would wear to work. I just tend to gravitate towards that kind of clothing. It's what I like to wear when I get dressed. When I put myself together, I like to feel like I could go into an office and it would be okay, you know? And then I see some of your comments asking like, well, how do you apply these principles if you dress more casually? And this doesn't fully enter in. This isn't like the loungewear version of this concept, although I'm sure that we could find images of that maybe next time. She still looks fierce, you know what I mean? She still looks stylish, and it's largely, in this case, I think, well, it's still fashion, right? She's wearing a skirt and boots and this sort of tucked in sweater, but it's a little bit more streetwear. You know, it's a little bit less. This isn't something you would wear to work in an office building. Like a lot of the other outfits kind of have been things you could wear to work in an office building. And it's surprising that it's 3 bean salad, right? You look at it and it doesn't, at first, it's not these like bam, 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 like 3 chunks of color right away when you look at it. It doesn't strike one like that, partly because the shirt has letters on it, has a word on it. Also because the skirt is denim, and so it's modeled, you know what I mean? It has different areas of color in it. It doesn't have that punch of simplicity that a lot of the other garments in the other outfits have had. But this is still, I think, very cohesive because of the same principle. I particularly like the fact that the boots come up higher than the hem of the skirt. So the 3 blocks of her 3 garments, the sweater, the skirt, and the shoes are just like 1, 2, 3 in a stack without any skin interrupting in between. I just really like that for this, especially because it's a little bit busier than some of the other examples we've seen. Okay, and then lastly, I was starting to think, like, what about when you start to push outside, similar to the one with the pink, with the 2 pink pieces that I was counting as 1. I started to think, can you also push outside of the rule of 3 if some of your garments match each other exactly and it's just sort of a balancing act of color? I don't know. It's sort of a question. We end on a question, right? Is this... It's not the same thing. It's maybe not a good example. So here's the thing. It's a 4-bean salad, but then it's kind of balanced out by color simplicity. She's clearly wearing 4 garments. There's a sweater, we could see it. There's a skirt, very clearly. Boots, really obviously. And then this bag. It actually doesn't have the charm. There's this kind of tension that comes from a real, pure act of 3 outfit. There's this kind of tension of restraint and action and sort of punch, because many of the garments we've seen today are individually very strong, but then they're restrained by how few garments a single person is wearing in a single outfit. It doesn't have that. It's actually maybe a good example of what's lost when you put on a 4th item, even though it's incredibly restrained in palette. So we only have creamy ivory and black. 2 items are ivory, 2 items are black. So it's just really minimal. And I used this as an example in that video about wearing mismatched bags and shoes, because the bag and the shoes don't match here. And I was saying one of the ways to pull it off is to have the whole outfit be really minimal in color otherwise. And it clearly is here. But the whole thing feels a bit softer. If we were to take one element away, so say we were to take the sweater away, what if this skirt is a dress? And she's wearing a dress, no sweater, just a dress, boot, and bag. When I imagine that, even though it's become even simpler color-wise, right, because we just have a black dress, black shoe, and bag, when I imagine that, it does go up a notch in terms of, I feel like the word is tension. It just goes up a notch, like vibrationally. It's a little less soft. It has a little more edge, the outfit, because the number of garments and items has been reduced overall down to 3. I'm glad we looked at this as kind of a foil, because I think this is a stunning outfit, right? This to me is like the perfect outfit. I absolutely love it. And I will wear outfits like this. And I don't usually only wear 3 things. Like, that's why I'm sort of thinking about this and wondering about pushing into this concept in the new year, just using it to act. I do hope that in the new year, we are planning. We've had a revolving door of house guests, and it's been hard to set up space to film anywhere but here. You know what I mean? To film me actually trying on my clothes. But obviously the next move is for me to try putting together some 3-bean salads of my own. And so I'm going to hold that. I'm going to hold space. I'm going to hold space for that concept and hopefully get it rolling, right? As soon as the year turns over and we have a little bit more actual physical space to do a thing like that. Because I'm excited. And I'm excited to play around with how an outfit changes when you take off that 4th thing and just reduce it down to 3. I'm excited to see what I can do. And in the meantime, maybe you can play around with it too, and we can all kind of report back together. The door that it's opening for me it's truly this thing about it being easier to wear louder garments. Louder pieces. Like this top, which I do feel like this is a neutral, but it's like, it would be easier to wear this if the only thing that I'm wearing with it is like a black skirt and a pair of shoes. And it's just those 3 things. I can so easily see how that's easier than layering a bunch of things on that are all competing. It's really like a helpful lens. I'm looking forward to see what we all come up with. Thanks again for being here. And don't forget to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.